Hey friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph, and today is Tuesday, July 23rd. And if you're new here, you may not know it, but if you're a returning viewer, you'll notice we're in a different location today. I'll talk about that in just a minute. If you are a new viewer though, thank you so much for checking the video out, the podcast out, and if you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. We have a lot to talk about today. There will be show notes in the description box below, below the video on YouTube. Just click where it says more, and that'll drop down. Links to everything I talk about. Sorry, I'm like rustling my show notes. Yeah, links to all my projects that I talk about. Anything else notable, there will be links down there. I also post the show notes on our Ravelry group, which is the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group on Ravelry, and also in my blog on Fiber Nymph Dye Works website. Again, all of that is linked below. So hopefully that will be helpful to you. If you have any questions or comments about anything I talk about today, feel free to leave a comment and I will do my best to respond in a timely manner. And lastly, I do have a membership opportunity on this channel. It's just a single level and it gets you a little bit of extra content every month, and a big thank you from me for helping to support the work I do here on this channel. So let's get into things. Oh, first of all, about why we're in this room. This is actually my office. I don't think I have ever really recorded in here before, not that I can remember. I feel like maybe I did a live stream one time, very close to the beginning of the pandemic, like a show, a virtual show that was supposed to have happened. I have recollections of being set up in here to do that. But other than that, I don't think I've ever really recorded. The light is not awesome in here, I have to say that. I've got a western window where it's okay right now. That's a northern window, which is actually probably brighter than it usually is because our RV is parked right there right now outside in the driveway, and it's sort of reflecting light back in. But I have my OT light on behind you. So it's giving me some extra light. But the reason I decided to try to record in here is because up until a couple weeks ago, this was also doubling as my daughter's bedroom. She moved home also early in the pandemic, and so she had been hanging out in here as her space for the past 4+ years. But she just got her own apartment a couple weeks ago, and so she is mostly moved out except for this big piece of furniture right here that you can only see the edge of. That's her roll top desk, and she's got a table with plants over there behind you. So those things still have to move, along with a couple other small things, but for the most part she's all moved into her apartment. She's loving being on her own, and I'm very excited about getting my office space back, because it's not only my office space. Like you can see, I have my yarn. This is all yarn that's in the shop. The bottom of the cabinet also has stuff in it, but my desk is over here. My packing table is to my right, but over here there's a couch, which is a sleeper sofa. That's what she was sleeping on. She's very happy to have a real bed again, and a cabinet and closet space. And like, I do my yoga in here because it's nice and open, a nice open floor space. I'm just looking forward to having that space. I can come in here on the couch, I can knit. I'm probably going to bring a spinning wheel in here at some point, be able to spin. So I'm excited about having this space back as well. But I thought I would see how it work out just to record today. Might do it again in here. We'll see how it works out. May not. But it's actually a little too humid to be out in the porch room at this point, and I would have to have the air conditioner on in my bedroom to record in there today. Whereas in here, I just have the ceiling fan on. It's nice and cool because it does not get the direct sunlight like the other rooms do. Anyway, let's move on. I have some announcements to make. I have not heard from the second winner that I drew for the Gridlock sock and the yarn and pattern kit for the Gridlock socks. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but if you entered way back a few months ago when I first did that drawing, please go check out last episode, which was the first episode in July. It was right towards the beginning. I announced a second winner since I never heard from the first one. And I've decided that if I do not hear from that second announced winner by the next time I do a regular episode, I'm going to find another way to give that set away, because obviously this is not working and I don't know why. Usually I don't have trouble with that. But yeah, I'll give it another couple of weeks, and if not, maybe I'll do an Instagram drawing. I may do it that way. We'll see. But anyway, that's still waiting to be claimed. Next up, I wanted to let you know I'm doing Christmas in July in the shop right now. If you're on my newsletter list, you already know about that, but I will let you know right now through the end of July, I have 4 of my what I consider customer favorite colorways up in the shop as dye to order items. That would be my Jingle colorway, Sugar Plumbed, On Frozen Pond, and Holly Plus Pine. Holly and Pine. I used a plus sign, so I say Holly plus Pine. Holly and Pine. So those 4 are available to be ordered as a dye to order. I only have it as self-striping, no mini skeins, no fiber. This is just about self-striping for Christmas in July. There is an add-on option for all 4 of those that you can get a $3 mini skein if you want. That's a discounted mini skein available on any of the bases. Those will all be available through the end of the month, but the other thing that's available is one special pre-order that is also a part of Christmas in July, and that is a mystery colorway. I'm leaving it a mystery until it ships to you. Now, this has absolutely nothing to do with my holiday countdown collections, which are also called the mystery of color. I didn't think that through, and I didn't realize it could be confusing, but they're 2 totally unrelated things. The only thing that's a mystery about this is the fact that I've not revealed what the colorway looks like. I'm doing it as a surprise, so if you're somebody who likes surprises and is in the mood to get a brand new Christmas colorway, holiday colorway before it shows up in the shop later this fall, already revealed, you can jump on that now. What I can tell you about it is that it is a pie colorway, so it will be my pie striping pattern, and it is inspired by some unusual Christmas / winter holiday customs around the world. That's my inspiration for the colorway. So if that sounds intriguing to you and you would like early access to a colorway without having it, with it being sight unseen, head on over to the shop and you can check that out. All 5 of those colorways will be shipped by the end of August. So you will have all fall to work on those holiday projects and get a jump on things. So anyway, that's happening in the shop right now. All right. Let's move on to the crafting, shall we? After I get a sip of water. Okay, I have some finished objects. However, I can't show them to you because they have already been gifted to their recipients. So the first finished object I have, and I am pretty sure I have pictures of this, if I do, I will put it up here. My socks that I was making for my mom, the colorway was a legacy. That was my anniversary colorway this year, and I was calling these what did I call them? Nana's Afghan socks for my mom. Since these are probably going to be gifted before I record my next episode, I thought I would at least show you the socks. These are my Nana's Afghan socks for my mom with my legacy colorway. Shorty socks, obviously. This was the first one, which I can tell, number one, because when I started out, it has just a couple stitches of the purple up there in that blue border, and the green was not as much in the toe. This one, no purple, a little bit more green in the toe. I think this one is just a smidge shorter, and I don't know why I was having trouble getting it on a sock blocker when I showed it to you in the last episode, because they go on the sock blockers fine. They're a little snug because they are just a little shorter than like I make my socks, but they're fine. But they're done and just in time. My mom gets here tomorrow. I don't know when I'm going to give them to her. I figure we'll pick one day and maybe do a little birthday something while she's here. Her birthday is not until next month. But anyway, so I just thought I would record this little clip and have it for whenever I do the podcast next, and then I can pop it in there. So if you've been around, you might realize my legacy colorway was inspired by a crocheted blanket that my grandmother made, my mother's mother, and that was what inspired the colorway. And so I thought it would be really cool for my mom to have a pair of socks made out of that colorway. And I did get to give them to her while she was here, which was fortunate because she forgot to bring a pair of her little shorty hand knit socks that I made her. And apparently she goes to bed with them on just about every night all year long, even though she lives in Florida. She said, I might not leave them on long, but I can't go to sleep if my feet are cold. So I understand that. So that was good. She got to have her socks. And what was really funny was she's like, you know what? I did watch, I saw your podcast. I don't always watch it, but I was watching it recently and I saw you were making these for me. So I kind of knew I was getting them. So it's like, okay, Mom, guess I can't talk about things I'm making you on here anymore. Oh my. So wasn't a total surprise, but she still appreciated them. Anyway, so that was a first finished object. Another thing that is a finished object that you have seen are these black cap Chickadee socks. I just finished the second one a couple nights ago. I could not fall asleep for anything. I just wasn't tired. So I came out and figured, why waste it tossing and turning? I'll just sit out in the dining room and knit on socks, and I did finish them. This is the second one. You can tell because it got an extra little color in tow. Anyway, this is my black cap Chickadee colorway. This was a Backyard Birdwatchers Club colorway from a couple years ago. I will eventually have this in the shop as a dye to order item. I'm going to try to put up a few of the different bird colorways that were most popular whenever I did offer them in the shop before. And this was one of them. But these are for me. And this one and the socks that I made for my mom were both socks that I did work on when we were on our canoe trip in Canada. So that's kind of exciting. They've got a little bit of Canada water splashed on them. Anyway, so this is my Mountain Tweed Marine, my Mountain Tweed BFL base. And I knit this on US ones, which is what I use for all of my socks. The socks for my mom were knit out of Bounce, also on US ones. Yeah, that's about all I can tell you. Just my regular 2x1 ribbing that I like to do for socks. Heel flap, gussets. They're pretty matchy. I really don't care if my socks are absolutely matchy, but anyway, so I have a new pair of socks waiting for me for this fall. So that's exciting. All right. Another thing that is a finished object, but I started it since you haven't seen it yet, are a couple of dishcloths. So not something super exciting, but I did make a couple of dishcloths for Emma to take to her new apartment because she also likes hand knit dishcloths. So here's a picture of the two that I made for her. And this is using the grandmother's favorite dishcloth pattern. There's a couple of them out. This one is called the original. And it's by can't remember, but here's another one because the yarn I'm using, okay, here's a ball of the yarn. This is not the color that I used for either of them, but it's some Freedom Cotton DK by Twillies of Stamford. I have had this yarn in my stash for probably 15 years because I bought this at the yarn shop I used to work at, and I'm pretty sure that shop's been closed for at least 15 years now. So anyway, it's been in my cotton stash, and so I pulled out the purple. Here's the purple, another one, and the yellow, which I did start another one of the yellow also. Let's see, where are you going? I'm almost to the halfway point on the yellow one. These are 50-gram balls. And the first two dishcloths took like 26 grams. So I'm making these two just a little smaller. And in fact, I did end up with, I still had a tiny bit left over of the purple after making that first one, but it wasn't enough to worry about. So I'm just going to do this one the same. The pattern has you increasing until you get to 44 stitches. I only increased to 40 stitches on this one instead of 44, just to make sure I'd have enough. So yeah, I'll put the name, you would have already seen it by now, of who the pattern is by. It's a free pattern. It's super easy. It's one of my go-to dishcloth patterns. I really I really like this one. The colors were 07 and 09, and I think 09 was the purple and 07 was the yellow. Could be the other way around, but it's on my project page. Anyway, I did pull this ball out of my stash as well, the green. I don't know that I'm going to use it right now. And then I forgot I bought this recently. It's sugar and cream scrub off. So there's cotton, but it's also got kind of that fuzzy scrubby stuff in it. And I've never used it before, so I wanted to try it, but I don't know that I'm going to do that right now. I like making dishcloths, but I can only do so many in one go, and then I have to take a break. But anyway, so that's my dishcloths that have been going on. So that's some more finished objects. What else? Well, now that I'm going to talk about what's coming next as far as socks go, though. Since I finished 2 pairs of socks, obviously that means I need to start working on some other socks. And my quandary has been, do I cast on brand new socks with brand new yarn, or do I pick up some works in progress that are languishing? Because I always have, I feel like I've always got some sock whips that are just languishing, and indeed I do. I have this one, which is another one that I did take with me to Canada. I did not end up working on it at all. These I started, I want to say 2 years ago. This is my first harvest colorway, also on my Mountain Tweed BFL. And I knit this as the sample for the colorway whenever I came out with it. And then I never finished the sock, but I wanted to keep it because sometimes I just bind them off and they're just a sample, but I kind of wanted to keep it going because I like the colorway. So I think I'm going to work on this next. It's in a plastic bag because it went with me on the canoe trip. But the other thing I pulled out, and I kind of forgot that I even had this in here, was this project. Obviously not socks, but this is a mitt. And this is my Magic Potions colorway that I also came out with in 2022. And I knit the mitt as the sample for that colorway. And I never made the second mitt. Matter of fact, I don't think I dyed this colorway last year. I'll have to do it this year. Anyway, yeah, and this is DK weight. This is my Bonafide base. So this should be a pretty quick knit. So I pulled both of these out of my works in progress that need attention. And so I'm going to just keep both of these out and I can work on those. Bill and I are going away this weekend, hence the RV sitting out in the driveway. And so I will be taking these 2 projects with me. I don't know if I'm going to take anything else because I'm not sure how much knitting time I'm going to have, but those will at least be going with me. I have another sock in progress that I thought about pulling out because I really love the colorway. It was one of my the pigskin party. It was one of my 2 pigskin party colorways, also in 2022, that I will finish eventually because I really love that colorway. But I'm going to hold off again because it's a wintry colorway. I want to enjoy this time of year and get into fall first before I start knitting the winter colorways. Anyway, I am going to be a sponsor for the pigskin party again this year, though, so that's exciting, and I will be coming out with an exclusive colorway for that that I'll have ready in August because we're going to be going away in September, right when it's kicking off, so I wanted to have the colorway available well in advance. So more about that next time I talk to you. Anyway, what else? Dishcloths. Oh, what else I've worked on? My hand-spun granny squares. So let's talk about those. Is this the bag? I think this is the bag. My mischievous kitty bag from Adorn It. Yes. Okay, so I have been working on these little granny squares. I started these on the ride home from our Canada trip, actually. I had just taken a project bag full of little mini skeins of Handspun. These are mostly like little minis from like the leftovers on a bobbin after I've Handspun, and then I'll like 2-ply it and just be done with it. But that leaves me with a mini. So that's what I was using to make all of these little granny squares. And they're little round ones that I'm then squaring off in the last round. I showed you that last time, which is something new to me. I've never done those before. However, I did finally lay them out, and I'm going to put a picture in here because what my thought was I was going to make a table topper, actually for this table that you cannot see, but it's sitting right here to the left of me. I had made a quilted table topper for Emma when she was living in this room, and she had it on this table. Obviously it's with her now, so I thought, well, maybe these little things that I started with no plan for them, I thought, well, maybe they would make a nice table topper. So I laid them out, and I have 21, and as you could see in the picture, I left space for where they'd be joined and having an edge and everything on them. I thought, okay, that could work. I need another 21 to cover the top, but then I'm a little hesitant about having crocheted squares as a table topper for this table, only because I want it to be smooth enough that I don't have to worry about, like, if I have candle on it or like my incense burner or sit a glass down on it, that it's going to be lumpy. And crochet can kind of be lumpy. Now these aren't horribly lumpy because it's not super heavyweight yarn. I mean, they're pretty thin, and once they're all together and blocked, I'm sure it will be level enough, but I don't know. I'm hesitating. And then I was looking at a few of these blocks that I did. These 4 in particular. Let me find the one. This one. Oh my gosh. Okay. Look at this one. This gives me stained glass vibes. I don't know why. I think it's that blue. It's just so pretty. But I ended up getting 3. Here's another one. And this one. And then this one, the very center, is the last of that yarn. And then I had this neutral hand spun that I finished it with. I love these. And I thought, where is the skein of yarn that I actually spun and from this same fiber, that this was the leftover? Well, I found it, and it's this one. I love this yarn. I spun this yarn back in 2018. This is some fiber from One Lupin, which is a shop in Maine. I bought the fiber in, I want to say, October of like 2015. I went to a retreat, and I was vending there, and they were vending there as well. And I got this beautiful BFL silk braid, all these soft colors, and it was such a joy to spin. But I had a little left over, and when I was looking at my records, I actually had records on this hand spun. The reason that this mini looks different than this is because rather than plying this on itself to get a 2-ply, I thread plied this. So that's why it looks different. If you look real closely, especially in the lighter areas, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not, you can see like a dark strand, a very fine dark strand. That's thread. I just used all-purpose thread, a blue thread, and that's what I plied it with. And I love how it looks. I really kind of wish the whole thing had that, and I briefly thought, I could run it back through my wheel and ply it with some thread, but I'm not insane, so I'm not going to do that because I don't want to mess it up. However, it got me thinking about how much I really like this yarn and these squares. And even though, excuse me, I feel like I might sneeze. No, we're not going to do that. No sneezing. Okay. Anyway, I thought, these are such pretty light colors. What if I did the entire tabletop in this yarn? I don't know that I would be able to incorporate these because I think they would really look a little off. I could maybe. I don't know. We'd see. But then I thought, it's still going to be crocheted, and it still may have those potentially lumpy issues. Then I thought, but what if I wove a tabletop? A piece of woven fabric would be nice and smooth. I'm certain, more than enough yarn that I would need to do this. The table is 24 by 26. My big loom is 24 inches wide, and it yields approximately 22 inches in width fabric, 22 to 23. So that would be perfect. I would not have to do an overly long warp. I would just have to have enough to accommodate, 26 inches of length, and actually a little less because I don't want it to drape over it. I just want it to be on the top. So I could do this as a woven project and use this as both the warp and the weft. I could use something different for the warp, but I think I would like to use this. So that's my question for myself, for you. What do you think? Like, what do you think would be a good answer to that? I still have all these squares, and obviously I will put them together and make something, you know, it'll be fine. I can make mats or something. I don't know. I can always do something with little granny squares. So that is my current conundrum, how to move forward with that project. But I'm really, really liking that idea about weaving. And I really do think I would have enough warp and weft yarn. I've got over 500 yards. And I think that would be plenty because it's not a very big tabletop. So anyway, all right. We'll think about that. I'll let you know next time what I decide. Then we've got spinning. I've been spinning. My Tour de Fleece is over, I think officially. I think it ended on the 21st. I did not finish everything I set out to do, but it was okay because I did not have any really hard and fast goals. I chose bats. That is what I landed on. I think I talked to you about that last time. I had 7 bats from Classy Squid Fiber Co. They are no longer dying, and I decided I was going to use those as my focus for spinning, and that's what I did. So I did get 3 of them finished. This was the first one I did. Very lumpy. I kind of forgot what those kind of bats are like to spin, and there was a lot of lumpy stuff in this one. I did kind of frustrate myself with it the first day, and I had to walk away from it. And then the next day I got back to it, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to just let it spin and do its own thing and be what it wants to be. And we were both much happier then. So this was the first skein. This was the second skein. This was much smoother, not as much lumpy stuff there. And then this was the third one, and this one had some lumpy stuff, but it also had this real fuzzy, they're just like threads. It's not even like sari silk. I don't know what it is, but they're very short, and I could pull on these and a bunch of them would come out right now. This is going to be interesting. I don't know how that's going to work out. These were each 2 ounces, and the finished skeins do weigh 2 ounces. This one I did get some less yardage. I guess I spun it a little thicker. That loose stuff just really did create some issues for me. So anyway, I'm on the 4th bat now. I don't know if I have a picture of what's in progress. I didn't bring the bobbin in off the wheel, but this is what the fiber looks like. So it's not too bad. There's not a lot of lumpy stuff in it. Just a little bit, but not much neppy stuff. Some sparkle, which is always fun. So, you know, my original loose plan for these bats when I was spinning them, I thought, oh, this would be really fun to do these and then kind of put them together in a project as a sort of fade. Once I got into spinning this and realized these were not going to spin in the nice smooth way that I originally thought I wanted them to, well, that I knew I wanted them to spin, they did not want to spin that way. I let go of that idea. That's not what these are going to be. I'm probably not going to knit with these at all. I think they are also going to become weaving projects. I talked about this actually a little bit. I did a short members video last week talking about my spinning and my experience with this and the broader thought process that went into letting my perspective change on the project. So if you're interested in that and you want to check out the membership, you can watch that video as well as any of my past members videos. But anyway, yeah, I'm letting myself be happy with what they want to be. And I do think I might just turn them into some sort of weavings, like wall hanging kind of weavings. That could be really fun. So we'll see where I go with that. Or mats. They could be mats. They will probably eventually end up in my shop. So, but right now I'm just focusing on the spinning part and just letting that be the fun part. I have been taking a break though. I'm still having a little bit issue with my hips. I talked about that last time too. My gosh, it makes me feel so old every time I say my hips hurt. This started while we were on the canoe trip. My left hip had been bothering me a little bit before we left, and it did not get any better while I was folded into the front of the canoe for 2 weeks. My left hip finally feels really pretty good. I would say it's about 95% totally better. Every once in a while it still catches me, but it's mostly okay. My right hip has been a little more problematic, and it's not so much even my hip, but my thigh, the one muscle on the outside front of my thigh just starts burning. It's really weird. And I have not been able to totally figure out what's going on with it. I've been doing a lot of yoga and a lot of stretching for my hips, which is helping. But like other things that I normally can do to help hip pain, not doing anything for this. And so I'm probably going to eventually have to go to the doctor for it if I can't make it go away. But what I've been doing the last few days is I've been wrapping that thigh where that muscle is bothering me in an ace bandage. Total game changer. Not hurting at all during the day while I have it wrapped. After I take it off, it does start to hurt. Heat has been helping it actually. So I don't know. I've heard it somehow. I've angered it. I'm hopeful that we can make reparations between the two of us without me having to go to the doctor, but we'll see. Anyway, that's why I haven't been spinning, and that's why my fourth skein for my Tour de Fleece has not been spun, and why I didn't finish the other three. Not that that's a big deal. Again, no pressure. Spinning is meant to be fun, as are all of our crafts. They're meant to be fun. No pressure. One other thing here in the crafting, which is more of a new thing. It is a new thing. It's not crafting at all. I haven't started using it, but I am taking part in the A Stitch in Time make-alongs that Carol from that podcast, and she's also a member of our group, or watches our podcast, this podcast. Boy, running all the words together. Anyway, Carol is hosting make-alongs this year on her podcast, and I have been participating. It's another year of using the stash. I cannot remember exactly what she's calling it, but it's basically another stash busting make along this year, which I'm always all about. So that's fun. But anyway, she announced her second quarter winners recently, and I was one of them, which amazed me because I have been so horrible about actually posting in the group. I don't post as often as I probably should, but it was so much fun to hear my name called. And one of the prizes that I was offered was a gift certificate to any yarn shop or LYS, or it could be an online shop that could have a gift certificate sent online. And so I asked for one from the KnitSpinFarm shop because you know I like KnitSpinFarm. And so that's what I got. She sent me a gift certificate for that, and I wasted absolutely no time in ordering. And so here's the skein of yarn that I ordered. This is called Dragonflies, and this is on Joanna's Corriedale Sock. It's funny. I have a lot of Joanna's yarn, and it's self-striping. And it's funny because as a self-striping dyer, I don't tend to gravitate. That's not true. That's not true, because I like West Yorkshire spinners. You know, they're self-striping, and I have other commercial self-striping that I get occasionally, but I don't tend towards other hand dyers. I don't know why, but I love Joanna's color sense, and her striping patterns always make me super happy. So her colorways. So I got this one, and in looking at other skeins that I have of hers, they all tend more towards the earthy colors, and this is the first one I've gotten from her that is a brighter colorway. So when I was thinking about, ooh, what other socks could I work on now, I'm really tempted to cast this on right away, wind this up and cast it on. But I think I was gonna make myself. I think I am gonna finish that first harvest socks first, and those mitts, get those done, and then I might treat myself to Dragonflies. We'll see. But I'm really happy about this colorway. So again, thank you so much, Carol, for the prize. That was awesome. Thank you, Joanna, for the beautiful yarn, and I can't wait to use it. I'm in a blue theme today. It's funny because this top almost looks more periwinkle on the camera, whereas it's much more of a royal blue. Well, not a royal blue. I don't know what the blue is. I don't wear blue a lot, but today I'm wearing blue, and it doesn't look blue in the camera. It's probably because my daughter's plant lights are on over there, and they're like a red and blue and give everything a purplish cast. I think that's why it looks different to me. I don't know how it's going to look once I publish the episode, but it's not true to color right now. Okay, and in case you're interested, I got this at Kohl's. I bought two of them. I bought a black one and I bought a white one. And it's just a nice lightweight gauzy material, sleeveless, open neck. Love it. So, so comfortable. As soon as I got the black and white one in the mail and I tried it on, because I ordered them online, I realized how much I loved it, and I went back online and I ordered the other three colors they have, which was this blue and kind of a peachy orange and let's see, a magenta. Do you guys do that? Like, if you find something you really like and it fits super well and it's comfy, do you go and just buy them in every color? I do that so often. So often. Anyway, if you do watch the members video from last week, I was wearing the magenta one in that one, I think. Anyway, so silly. All right, let's move along. We've got the project pool to talk about. I did hear from the May-June winners. Thank you guys for getting in touch with me. You should have your prizes already. The make-along is going on all year long. You can join in at any time. You can learn all of the details about it in the Ravelry group or in a pinned post on the FiberNymph.works blog on my website. I also did a video introducing it at the beginning of the year. If I remember and I'm editing, I will try to put the little info link thingy up in the corner. I never remember which corner it ends up on. It'll be up there somewhere if I remember to put it up there, but you can find it in the channel in past videos. Anyway, it's basically what you want it to be. Project pool. You create your list of whatever it is you want to work on this year. I was encouraging people to kind of keep it manageable. Like, think of it as like a finite containment unit that you wanted to put the things that you most wanted to work on in. Everybody's doing it a little differently. My list has morphed over and over again, which is fine. That's what it's meant to do. You know, you can cross things off and be happy that you got them all done, or you can cross things off and add other things. You can take things off and swap other things in, whatever you want to do, whatever you find motivating. But I know a lot of people are finding it motivating to have a list to work from. So that was the whole idea of the project pool. As far as my project pool, I have not, I think I have like just a loose goal of finishing some whips maybe. I always have the goal of using stash, so those dishcloths would qualify for that. But I don't think I really got anything else major done. Now, there is a project that was on my project pool that is now finished, which was the recovering the seat cushions for the RV, for like the table where the benches where we sit to eat. Those are recovered. However, I cannot take credit for doing it. My mom did those with Bill while she was here. It had been giving me such anxiety thinking about working on them. And I had mentioned them to her before she came to visit, and I said, hey, while you're here, I really would appreciate if you could help me with these. My mom is an excellent sewist. She's been sewing her entire life, and she's really good at it. And she knows how to do zippers. I do not do zippers very well at all. I don't have much experience with them. So anyway, I asked her, would you please help me with these? I just don't know what to do. I'm so afraid to even start them. And she was like, sure. And so while she was here, I was then like, the other thing is we have a new sewing machine, because I think I mentioned this before. Bill made a boat cover over the winter and managed to kill all three of the sewing machines that between he and I we had. And so we bought a brand new sewing machine. I have not used it at all yet though. And so I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want to like start using the sewing machine without having practice on anything else and have to dive into these cushions. So when she was here, I approached the two of them. I'm like, hey, you know what? My mom knows how to do zippers and cushion covers, and you know how to do the machine. It would be great. Maybe you two could work together and you could make these cushion covers, because I was also in the middle of trying to get a wholesale order finished and out. And they were like, yeah, okay, we can do that. And so they did. Oh my gosh, they turned out so well. I will put a picture up here or somewhere where you can see them, but they did a great job on them. It was sort of a create it as you go, as far as I ever understand, but it turned out great and they look really nice. So I am so happy to have that off the general list, even though I didn't get to do it. I'm just glad that it's done. So thank you, Mom. If you're watching, thank you. I appreciate that you did that for me. And the other thing that I need to talk about, and another thank you, Mom, and this is not project pool related at all because I did not make it, but this is something that my mom made, and it is a project. You want to talk about a languishing whip. This is a project she started back when I was in high school. Okay, I'm going to be 58 this year, so you do the math. She used to do lap quilting, and she started a quilt for me back when I was in high school, and it never got finished. She had done all of the blocks, the individual blocks. She hand quilted each one, but she never got it put together, and like the binding on it and the backing, like that never happened until this year. And she got the blocks and she said, I just wanted it done. She said she had a friend from church who does this and does beautiful work, and so they put it together for her, and it's now a finished quilt, and she brought it for me, and I'm so excited about this. Like, she told me she was finishing it, and she's like, I don't know that you'll be able to use it, it's small. And I'm like, I know, but you made it for me, and like, I'm gonna keep it. She's like, well, maybe Emma would want it. I'm like, no, it's mine. So here it is. I will try to take a picture of it on my bed so that you can see, and it is quite small. It would top like a single bed, because I had a single bed back in high school. But I mean, look at these squares. All of it is hand quilted. It's just beautiful. And it's funny because the colors are great for in here. So I think it's going to end up on this couch. I'm going to have it there, and I'll be able to just wrap up in it and use it. Yeah, I don't know that I can even do it justice. It's a 3x4, let's see, how many squares? 1, 2, 3, yep, 3x4. So 12 squares. So I don't know what any of the blocks are called. If they have a name. Let's see. And if they do have a name, I may be holding them upside down. I don't know. It's the last one. So anyway, I'm so happy to have my quilt. Just makes me smile. And you know, it goes back to that whole legacy thing, right? Like, I named that colorway this year a legacy because of the legacy of makers that I have in my family, and my mom's one of them. I think I've mentioned before, like, she made all my clothes when I was little, up until the point where I started to become aware and be like, Mom, I don't want you to make my clothes. I want store-bought clothes. You know how that happens. But like, I just think about those kind of things, and it's just so cool now to have this, and I'm so happy with this quilt and glad to have it. And again, thank you, Mom, if you're watching. I'm so happy with my quilt. So anyway, there was that. And where else are we? I think that's it for the project pool. Sorry, another drink of water. You probably saw there's bins of yarn back there. God, now I have fuzzies in my mouth. Those are also in the shop. Feel free to buy them so that they can move out of those bins. So I said, I'm kind of in the process of getting this back to being my workspace. So there's yarn in bins. All right, let's move on to shop news. As I mentioned already, Christmas in July colorways are up in the shop. 4 are previous colorways, customer favorites that are up for dye to order. They do have an add-on mini option that you can do if you would like. And then the pre-order for the new colorway that I'm keeping a secret, a mystery, until it gets shipped to you, that is also up. And all of those are available through the end of July. You won't see Christmas colorways again until later in the fall. And the mystery colorway will no longer be a mystery when I do list it in the fall. But anyway, those are available through and will ship by August 31st. There are a lot of dye to order colorways up. I've been telling you about those over the past several months, it is a goal of mine to have a really nice library of colorways up in the shop that are available at any time as dye to orders, self-striping. Many of them also have mini skein and fiber options as well. So I will be continuing to add those to the shop as I can. I will also be rotating some colorways in and out, and I will definitely send out a newsletter letting you know which ones are going to be rotated out, and that way if you wanted to grab them, you know, before they go out for a while, you can. So being on the newsletter list is always the best way to know that kind of stuff. And you can subscribe to my newsletter from any page of my website. My next goal is to get a dye to order Inversibles listing up for you guys. I know several of you are waiting for that, so that is coming. And the Inversible listing will also have an add-on mini. All of my dye to order listings have the add-on mini available if you're buying self-striping. So that was a feature that I was really happy we were able to put in there. I'm also thinking of adding a dye to order listing for spinning sets. Would you be interested in that? You know, when I do fiber for the shop, I've been doing both braids, which are variegated, and then I've been doing the spinning sets, which are the same colors from the colorway, except all in like 1 ounce little mini bumps. And then you get, you know, if it's a 6 color colorway, then you get 6 mini bumps of 1 ounce each. So I was thinking about doing that, where you could put together your own spinning set by just buying however many mini bumps you wanted and just having them available in the shop that way. I would need to dye a lot of the colors on fiber to have as the samples for that, so it'll take me a little while to get that up, but I think I'm going to try doing that. Let me know if that would be of interest to you. Yeah, I just thought that would be a fun idea. I love working from spinning sets. It's almost like it's like doing your own kind of little mini combo spin, you know? And I have some ideas also for some videos / workshopy kind of things about using spinning sets too, that hopefully I can get to next year. Probably won't be happening this year, but next year. Okay, anyway, there's still a lot of in stock, as you can see. That's all in stock stuff ready to go out to a new home. There's self-striping, there's mini skein sets, there's project sets, there's yarn and pattern sets for, let's see, I think there's still some gridlock sets. There are some Ryoko sets, my shawl pattern, shawlette. And then there's just project sets that have no specific pattern to them. You put the yarn to the pattern. So there's a lot. And there's fiber left also. So check out the shop if you want to see what's ready to go, and you can order that. And again, there's the dye to order stuff that's also there for you. And since the holiday countdown signups closed at the end of June, you know, I'm also working on that behind the scenes. So that's going to be my next few months until those things ship out in November. But that's always a joy for me to do. I love putting those together. So anyway, other than that, we're going to move on into life stuff. As I said, the chaos that was going on has settled a good bit. My mom has been here and is gone, and so that was a lovely visit to have her here. Our driveway is now paved. This was all going on at the same time, in case you don't remember. The driveway started being paved. Emma got home from her trip. The driveway started being paved. My mom got here the next day, and then Emma started moving. Like, all of this was going on when we couldn't really use our driveway. That's also a lot of fun. But anyway, yeah. So the driveway is paved. It looks fabulous, and we're finally able to park on it. We had not been parking on it for at least a week because it had been really hot out, and it wasn't having a chance to like cure and harden, and Bill didn't want it to develop, you know, like little bumps and ruts or dips from parking on it. So we were still parking at the neighbors, but we finally have all of the vehicles back over here, which is nice. So that is done. Emma, as I said, she's in her own place, and that's mostly fine. The garden amongst all of this is still pretty meh. We are going to have potatoes. The potatoes seem to be doing great. They're starting to die off now, so we can start digging them. So potatoes, good. The tomatoes, surprisingly, are doing fantastic. Like, we finally got some rain, and it was like they just took off, and there's a bazillion, like, tomatoes on the vines now. Really hoping they get bigger and don't end up just being little small tomatoes. But I'll take them. I love homegrown tomatoes. So we should have a lot of tomatoes unless the groundhog or something else decides to wreak havoc on them, like he has on so many other things. Our peppers are admirably trying, really, really trying, but the groundhog just keeps eating the plants. I have wire cages over them all, and he keeps moving it. It's like, dang it. So I don't know if we're going to get peppers or not. The lemongrass still looks lovely. Love lemongrass tea. Some other herbs down there. Lots of mint. I keep feeling like I'm smelling chamomile down there, but I don't see any chamomile. So I don't know what's going on there. What else? The zucchini, the groundhog ate that off. It keeps blooming, but then he just eats things off, the leaves, and I don't think we're going to end up with any zucchini. Whatever, did my best. Wasn't good enough. There's always next year. What else? I did get my big wholesale order out on time yesterday, so yay, that was good. And Bill has been busy working on his new boat. I told you guys he bought a boat, so he's been doing all kinds of work on that. Matter of fact, he's down in the driveway now doing that. You might hear some noise down there. And we've also been working on doing some more stuff with the RV, getting it ready. This coming weekend, is the off-road motorcycle event that we go to every year up in north central PA. So in past years, this is the third year we're going. Third year or fourth year? Third. I think it's the third year. Anyway, we usually just motorcycle camp. We take our tent and camp. The event is called Soggy Bottom, and often it lives up to its name, so tent camping isn't always great fun. This year, however, we're taking the RV and we're trailering the bikes up. So this will be the first official actual camping use with the RV, so that's very exciting. It's going to be a nice, safe, dry run with it anyway. We probably won't be doing a lot of cooking in it because our meals are included in this event, most of them. So I'm going to be taking just a few things that I know I can have in case there's nothing available, like gluten-free. Obviously, there's not going to be, I can tell you there's not going to be anything gluten-free, bread-wise. So I'll be taking that kind of stuff for myself. But yeah, not a lot of cooking going on, but we'll be able to sleep in it and shower and, do all that. So that'll be nice. Yeah, wish us luck. And I will be on my Ural, because if you pay attention and I don't like riding a motorcycle off-road. It's not my thing. But my Ural has 3 wheels because it's a sidecar rig, and so I don't mind it. It'll be fine. It's always a good time. Yeah, other than that, right now I'm just sort of appreciating the calm that has set in after all of that chaos and activity going on. And I'm looking forward to that continuing, because even though I've got a lot to do in the coming months, work-wise and otherwise, it's a little bit, it's calmer. It's just calmer. I don't know how else to explain it. And part of it I know is the fact that, like, Emma's not here anymore. And it, like I was saying earlier, it's just so weird how the energy dynamic in a house can change when one person's no longer there. And it's different than like when she would go away on vacation for a week and you knew she was coming back. Like, she's still coming back. Like, she's coming up to do her laundry on the weekends. But still, it's different, So, and I don't know. I'm just sort of babbling about it at this point. It's different, and it's nice, and it's new, and I'm just letting myself ease into it and enjoying it for what it is at the moment. Yeah, so life is good. Things are going well. I hope things are going well with you too. I hope you're enjoying your summer at this point. I can't believe July is almost over. We're almost 2/3 of the way through the summer. Our weather has finally not, it's been cooler a little bit and not quite as humid, which is a blessing because good grief, it was so hot and miserable for a while there. But yeah, today's actually a pretty nice day. It's feeling, it's pretty close outside, but for the most part it's nice. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking about the weather. I hope you're well, and I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you're working on, how your tour de fleece went, what you are hoping to be working on as the next month comes. Yeah, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And you will hear from me again probably. It'll be early August. So until then, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.